Welcome to week 3 of the VGC Casters Cup. I'm Jake, the captain of the 5-move Volcaronas, and for week number 3, we're going up against Lee Provost, one of the European VGC casters, and his team, the Southwest Scorbunnys. If you look at Lee's team, obviously the first, jump out is the Dundozo Tetsugiri. If you followed along last season, you'll know that I got wiped by Dozogiri against Ben Kiriakou in the regular season, and then over-prepared for him to not bring it in the semifinals. So I'm remembering that, taking that into consideration, maybe altering a little bit of my team-building strategies and my game plans to make sure I'm ready for it, but not kind of too ready for it and sacrificing too much for the rest of the team. The rest of his team also, there are some pretty threatening combinations. The Chiyu and Landorus are really strong. Chiyu, of course, lowering special defense for something like Landorus to hit even harder than normal. Kilowattrel's also, I think, pretty good. My fastest Pokemon, being Electrode, can really not touch Kilowattrel. It's got Volt Absorb, and Leaf Storm is resisted, and not a great special attack anyway. So Kilowattrel, I'm making sure I'm ready for that as well, because I think if he doesn't bring a Dozo mode to one game, Kilowattrel could help him out a lot. Otherwise, I think I kind of like the matchup here. Dragonite in particular doesn't have too many things to stop it outright. Of course, the Florges being a fairy type is pretty good into it, but Florges doesn't have a ton to offer outside of being a fairy type, so we'll see how that goes. Let's just jump right into my team. This is the Reg H Dragonite set. It's the Terra Steel, Loaded Dice, Multiscale, Scale Shot, Haze, Tailwind, Protect. This is kind of my one-stop shop Dundozo answer, while also being just a solid pick into Lee's team regardless. I'm kind of expecting some Terra Fairies, Terra Steels on Lee's team, because this is my obvious very best answer into Dundozo. I'm going to bring it. I feel like it would be silly not to bring it. I considered doing something else with it, but I want to make sure I'm not just going to get immediately run over by Dundozo. This is my best way to do it. I did consider a second attack over Tailwind, maybe Ironhead for Terra Fairies, or something else to hit some other important Pokemon on his team. But I thought Tailwind was really nice here, the way that the speed tiers kind of match up. Tailwind can be really nice for my team. It can get the Arcanine attacking first, it can get the Gengar attacking first, which you'll see are very offensive in nature a little bit later on. So I just went with this kind of standard set. If he does have Terra Fairies and Terra Steels, I will have ways to punish them with other Pokemon on my team, and so this felt like a very reliable set. Scale Shot in particular is really good into Lee's team, other than against the Florges and any of those Strassalizations. Chiyu, Breloom, Landorus, Kilowattrel, Hitmonlee, all of these Pokemon are not the bulkiest and might just be one at KO'd by Scale Shot, if not taken very low and be able to be finished off by anything else. Plus the speed advantage can give me Tailwinds. My Dragonite will outspeed Kilowattrel after a Scale Shot, which is Lee's fastest Pokemon. So I think this is just a nice set, both to take on the Dundozo and just in general for support here. Number 2, I've got the Arcanine. I'm finally using Choice Band Terra Normal Extreme Speed. I know that was kind of one of my first thoughts when I was early in the draft. Was I'm set up really well for this Terra Normal Extreme Speed, but I haven't really had the greatest opportunity to do it yet. In this case, I am... Oops, wrong button. Oh no, there we go. In this case, I am doing it. Again, kind of like I was talking about with Scale Shot. Lee has a lot of fast, frail, strong Pokemon that are somewhat liable to getting picked off by Extreme Speed. For example, a Terra Normal Choice Band Extreme Speed with the Sword of Ruin from Qianpao should always knock out Chiyu. That I think is a somewhat important target here. So just gives me the option for immediate offense. Intimidate's also pretty nice here. It can hit the Breloom, the Dundozo, importantly. Something like Hitmonlee, if that comes. I did consider Rockhead here, because I also think Head Smash is very strong into Lee's team. Not too many resists, and the two that are resistant are Breloom and Hitmonlee, neither of which are the most bulky of Pokemon. And Palossand, actually, but Palossand, I'm not going to commit too many resources to beating, because I don't think it's that great of a pick. Just in general. Again, it's an E-tier Pokemon. I've talked about at length how I think E-tier Pokemon are just not very good in this format. But Head Smash hits really hard into all of these Pokemon. So I did consider Rockhead just to remove the recoil from Head Smash. But I think the Intimidate could be more important for managing the Dondozo before I can get a Haze off. It can somewhat slow down Breloom as well if that becomes an issue. And so I just stuck with the Intimidate here. Standard moveset, Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, Extreme Speed, Head Smash. I think if this choice band moveset ever changes, it's to add like a Terra Blast or maybe like a Play Rough or a Crunch or something, a fighting type move just to add some coverage. But I'm pretty happy with kind of just the standard attack spread into these teams, so I just stuck with it. Down to Chien-Pao. It finally has its Focus Sash. I've mentioned a couple times in my last 2 weeks how I do have a couple Pokemon that really love holding the Focus Sash. In this case, it's the Chien-Pao and the Gengar, both of which are on the team again, but I went a different direction with the Gengar this time around, so Chien-Pao is able to pick it up. This will just be nice. If the Chi-Yu is Choice Scarf, it can not get 1-hit KO'd. If the Breloom has Mach Punch, it can not get 1-hit KO'd. Landorus, Earth Power, probably just 1-hit KOs it if he has a speed advantage, and I'm able to prevent that from happening with the Sash. I think it's just the best option here, just to get a little bit more longevity. I did go with Icy Wind, though. This was a really cool idea that I had. Again, the Kilowattrel is the fastest Pokemon on Lee's team. If he wants to go with a Kilowattrel Tailwind kind of mode, it's probably Sash Kilowattrel, so it just doesn't get deleted by the Chien-Pao. And in that case, I can just Icy Wind it, lower its speed. At -1, it will be outsped by both my Dragonite and my Arcanine, the way I trained them. So if he does want to go with the Kilowattrel mode, I think Icy Wind plus attack from Dragonite or Arcanine should be able to knock it out, and that will give me the speed advantage for the rest of the game, which could be huge. I did have to drop one of the fighting or dark type attacks. In this case, I opted to drop dark type attack. If you're just looking at the standard Chien-Pao set, it does have Sucker Punch over Icy Wind here. This was somewhat conflicting. I opted to keep Sacred Sword because I wanted Chien-Pao to be able to damage Dondozo. Of course, Sacred Sword ignores defense boosts, and so if the Dondozo does get boosted, and I need something to be able to chip it down a little bit, I'll be able to hit it with Sacred Sword. Also, gives me a way to hit Chi-Yu. If the Chi-Yu and Dondozo weren't on this team rather, I probably would have stuck with a Dark type move. The Weird Ear is something I was a little bit worried about if it did come, because it does have Intimidate. It's got that Psychic typing. So Dark type move might have been nice, but looking at the rest of the team, specifically the Chi-Yu and the Dondozo, I thought Sacred Sword was more valuable than a Dark move here. Down to Gengar. It is not Focus Sash this time because it is Choice Specs. Again, just kind of looking at Lee's team, it's got a lot of kind of middle speed Pokemon. The Kilowattrel is the only thing that's actually naturally faster than the Gengar, so I went with a Choice Specs set. Into Dondozo, one of the best things you can do is just hit it with really strong special attacks, even if they're neutral. Dondozo has very high defense. Of course, when it gets the Commander boost, it goes even higher. The special defense is also boosted, but even the boosted special defense is much lower than the boosted defense. So if you just look at, the first 3 Pokemon on my team, very strong, but all physical. Not the greatest into a boosted Dondozo. I really wanted something to hit the Dondozo not super effectively, on the special attack side. So I did go with Choice Specs Gengar. I have the speed control with Icy Wind and Tailwind. There's probably very few scenarios where Gengar won't be attacking first, and if that's the case, I've done something wrong. And so the Choice Specs was a great way to just guarantee a bunch of damage. Sludge Bomb and Shadow Ball were kind of obvious neutral picks here. Thunderbolt was a way to hit the Dondozo super effectively. Truly the only reason I picked it is like, you know what, if Dondozo's not terrestrializing, I want a way to hit it with Gengar. That either could have been Thunderbolt or like Energy Ball. I don't know why I picked Thunderbolt over Energy Ball. I just kind of picked one and was like, that's my Dozo attack. I did have a 4th option available here, of course, on Choice Specs. At first, I went Terra Fighting Terra Blast because I was like, oh, Gengar can hit Chi-Yu, and that'll be great. And then I was looking at the rest of Lee's team. I was like, wait, Terra Fighting Terra Blast is actually pretty bad into the rest of the team. What else can I do to hit Chi-Yu? Terra Water Terra Blast. Oh, Water's actually a much better defensive typing into Lee's team. It resists Wave Crash, it resists Heat Wave. And so I went with Terra Water Terra Blast. Also has the added bonus of knocking out Landorus. So if I have Gengar on the field against Chi-Yu and Landorus, I can Terra Blast either of them for a 1-hit KO with the Choice Specs, and that felt like a really strong option here. Water is also just the Terra typing I wanted defensively for Gengar here. Again, resisting the attacks from the Chi-Yu and Dondozo is great. I made sure that I survived a Heat Wave from a modest Choice Scarf Chi-Yu without the Terra, but if it does lock into like a Dark Pulse or something, then the Terra Water will help me survive that too. Down to Farigiraf. In this case, I wanted to make sure I was prepared for a mode of Lee's team that didn't bring the Dondozo. Like I said, against Ben last season in the semifinals, I was very ready for Dondozo, and then he just didn't bring it, and I didn't have what I needed to handle the rest of his team. So if for some reason Lee does not bring the Dondozo Tatsugiri like as one of the 6 Pokemon, he just doesn't have it on his team. I think this Trick Room mode is very strong, particularly the Hariyama. I'll get to that in a minute. Farigiraf specifically, I went with the Citrus Berry set this time. You will see that I am also Sap Sipper once again. There isn't a whole lot of priority on Lee's team. There's maybe Mach Punch from Breloom. Delibird and Hitmonlee both have Fake Out, but I didn't think those were too big a deal. And the nice thing about Sap Sipper is you can always bluff the Armor Tail until the Sap Sipper is revealed. It's not an ability that reveals itself upon hitting the field like Intimidate. So Lee can't know that I'm Sap Sipper until he either tries to hit me with a Grass type attack or goes for a priority attack and it doesn't get blocked. Psychic Noise, I wanted, as a way to prevent healing. I thought maybe Dondozo could be like a leftovers set. If I do want to actually bring the Farigiraf against a possible Dondozo mode, Psychic Noise will prevent the healing there. Maybe like Calm Mind, Leftovers, Florges. I don't know, like Leech Seed, Breloom. All these are things that can be stopped by the Psychic Noise. I guess the Leech Seed into Farigiraf will never happen because of Sap Sipper, but like if it Leech Seeds a partner or something, I don't know. I wasn't really looking to Farigiraf for offense here. It was here to set up the Trick Room for Hariyama, and then kind of just have fun after that. Since I am Citrus Berry, and I will probably be losing my item over the course of the game at some point, and also because I'm not looking for offense here out of Farigiraf, I'm not investing at all in special attack. It's all in bulk, HP defense, special defense, just to get Trick Room up. I opted for Thief. If I eat my Citrus Berry, I can use Thief to steal an item from one of these Pokemon. Could be somewhat useful if it's something, again, like a Leftovers, or even like if it's Choice Scarf Chi-Yu and I can steal that and lower its speed for the rest of the game, that could be useful. I just thought it was a cool like utility move that might offer some kind of unique situations. Terra Fairy, really just to resist the Dark Pulse from Chi-Yu. If I believe I trained my Farigiraf such that it always survives a Dark Pulse if it's not a boosting item like a Life Orb or a Choice Specs. But if I can help it, I don't want to take all of my HP at once, so I did go with the Terra Fairy there, again, just defensively. And now let's jump down to Hariyama. Again, like I said, I think Hariyama has a really nice bit of coverage against all of these teams, particularly if the Dondozo and Tensagiri don't come. I went with the Assault Vest this time, and I went with Thick Fat because it's very good in Chi-Yu. You resist the Dark Pulse. The Thick Fat helps you resist the Heat Waves. And I didn't think I needed like a big power boost from Guts this time around. I also wanted to use the Assault Vest. Lee has a bunch of special attackers, and the Assault Vest was really nice, and Guts doesn't synergize as well as that with Thick Fat does. I went with Fake Out. I think on an Assault Vest set, you almost always have room for Fake Out just to buy yourself some time to set up Trick Room, maybe buy a turn for something like Dragonite or Arcanine at the same time. But after that, the attacks were pretty straightforward to me. I definitely wanted a Fighting type attack. Drain Punch is really good. You can tank any attack from Chi-Yu and heal off a bunch with it with Drain Punch. Knockoff covers the Weirder very well. If the Weirder, or rather, if Lee doesn't bring Dondozo, I think Weirder probably comes, and I don't want Hariyama to be useless against that. And then Ice Punch is really solid here. Landorus, Kilowattrel, Meganium, Palisand, Breloom, a lot of Ice Weeks here. Ice Punch will always want to KO Landorus. I did that calculation just to make sure. And I also gave the Hariyama a little bit of speed. I'm not Min Speed Brave. You'll see I am Adamant, because dropping the special attack there instead of the speed. If I get a Tailwind up with Dragonite, my Hariyama will outspeed Landorus and be able to want to KO it with Ice Punch. Thought this was a nice way to give myself a little bit more flexibility, not make sure the Hariyama is kind of only useful in Trick Room. I'm blanking on Chi-Yu. I think Chi-Yu is slower than Landorus, which means Hariyama also outspeeds it in Tailwind if the Chi-Yu is not Choice Scarf, which is also great. So it just gave me another way to use this Hariyama if I don't want to fully commit to the Trick Room. I think just looking at the team, it's a pretty solid, kind of like Drain Tanky kind of Pokemon into Lee's team, minus the Dondozo again. If Dondozo comes, I think I'd probably leave the Farigiraf Hariyama alone, but it might just depend on the rest of his team and how the games are going. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this team. I think I'm covering Lee's options really well. Again, I have answers to the Dondozo. I've got the Haze. I've got the ways to punish defensive Terras that are good into Dragonite, like Steel and Fairy. And I also think I cover the non-Dondozo parts of it very well. In particular, I'm really happy. I'm really proud of the Icy Wind Chien-Pao. I think that's a really cool option into this team. So that's the team. We're jumping into week number 3. Again, I won week 1. I lost week 2. That's exactly how season 1 went. And then I lost week 3 last time around. Hoping to turn it around a little bit quicker this time and get a 2-1 start. Let's see how it goes. Alright, let's get into it. So let's see what Lee has decided to bring. Alright, Breloom, Dondozo Chiyu, Landorus Delibird, and Tatsugiri. See Terra types: Breloom, Fairy, Dondozo Fairy, Chiyu Ghost, Landorus Steel, Delibird Ghost, Tatsugiri Steel. So 2 fairies to try and beat out the Dragonite. That makes sense. I'm gonna need to punish that with the Gengar, hopefully. I feel okay about this. The Delibird might be a little bit annoying, to be quite honest, but we can figure that out as we go. I think I am just gonna lead Chien-Pao Arcanine and have Dragonite Gengar in the back. I think this is a pretty nice offensive lead, and it allows me to kind of figure out what Lee does on the fly here. The Trick Room mode I really don't love against Dondozo. I kind of brought this thinking he may opt out of Dozo, but I'm okay committing to these 4 for now. I'm gonna have to play this pretty aggressively, I think, in order to like make sure I'm not getting caught out here, but we'll see. He prepped for the extreme speeds well too. He's got 2 Ghosts and 2 Steel Terras. That's all good. Let's see. Chiyu Breloom, sure. Beads of Ruin before Sword of Ruin, so it is Choice Scarf Chiyu. Very good to know. If I had to guess, he might try and go for something like a Mach Punch and attack into Chien-Pao. So what the Chiyu is Terra Ghost. This is sort of when I wish I had Sucker Punch, because I could double it with like Extreme Speed Sucker Punch. But I think Icy Wind is also very strong here too. I think I'm just going to commit the Terra Ghost to make sure I don't get like Mach Punched here. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind and Rock Slide. I think this is my best bet at like making sure I get enough damage out on this turn. Because what like stops Chien-Pao from attacking is a Mach Punch, and I can't really afford that. Looks like he didn't Terrestrialize though. Breloom protects. Okay, this is totally fine. Because as long as I connect both my attacks here, I'll be able to knock out this Chiyu. It still does so much damage. Even if the Rock Slide misses Chiyu, that's kind of fine because I still have the option to Rock Slide it next turn. Or Icy Wind it next turn. Yeah, Rock Slide it next turn. Rock Slide does come through. I guess I am revealing the Rock Slide right off the Icy Wind right off the bat, but I don't necessarily mind that. I am able to knock out Chiyu, which is great. I did have to give up my Terra for it. Oh, it's Toxic Orb. Okay, cool. What Terra was it again? It was Fairy? Yeah, Fairy. Okay, that is kind of neat. Although, I mean, my Arcanine is faster. I got the Intimidate off, so I don't think Mach Punch should KO it. I think I'm going to Protect and just go for Rock Slide here. If he swaps in Tatsugiri, I want to be able to get in Dragonite without fearing too much damage coming through. So... I wonder if I Icy Wind? This is a little bit awkward. I'm just gonna go for the Ice Spinner. I don't think... Yeah, okay. That's fine. I was gonna say, I don't think losing a Pokemon here would be too big a deal. It is Tatsugiri. So he's gonna get the boost. Probably knock out one or both of my Pokemon. Actually, if he Earthquakes here, I may just lose. I'm now realizing. I might have wanted to protect the Chin Pao. Ooh, yeah, that could be bad. No earthquake. We are not earthquaking. Okay. Thank God. That's fine. I think that I would much rather Arcanine go down here than Chin Pao. Because Chin Pao staying up means that I have something to threaten both the Breloom and the Tatsugiri once the Dozo gets knocked out. I'm definitely just bringing in Dragonite to get a haze off here. I think I probably should protect the Chin Pao. But also that's a little bit telegraphed. I'm actually just going to go for the damage here. He almost certainly... Oh, he doesn't Terra Fairy. Okay, that's fine. I just get the haze right away. That's pretty good, actually. So now the boost goes away. He could still have Order Up. But it is good to know he's got the like leftovers protect. Now it's a matter of just kind of chipping away. When something goes down... Actually, no, this is pretty fine. I just get some chip damage off here with like Scale Shot and Sacred Sword. If he Terras, then I just bring in Gengar once something gets knocked out, and I can pretty easily go for a Sludge Bomb, which I'm guessing KOs with the Choice Specs and with no special defense boost, I'm hoping. And then at that point, Scale Shot can knock out Tatsugiri on the switch, and then I should be able to finish off the game with just Gengar, really. We know that Tatsugiri cannot be Choice Scarf because the Chiyu was. There's a chance it's Focus Sash, which could be a little bit annoying, but as long as I have 2 Pokemon up by the time something gets knocked out, I think I'll be okay. I obviously just go for Ice Spinner now, a little bit more damage. Ensure I get it into range for Sludge Bomb, and then Haze should be able to get rid of those attack boosts as they come through. Order up into Chin Pao, totally fine. Now, because I didn't get a Scale Shot off and because I've been hazing, I will be able to outspeed the Dragonite with my Gengar, Sludge Bomb to knock out Dondozo, and then Scale Shot to knock out Tatsugiri. I'm thankful that this is the attack boosting order up, because if it was speed boosting, it could get a little bit awkward. Thankfully, this Dondozo is locked to be very slow for the rest of the game. This Choice Specs Gengar, I would be shocked if it doesn't KO Dondozo from here, and then I guess as long as I'm not missing a Scale Shot into Tatsugiri, this should be pretty locked up. He almost certainly just protects, just to try and get a little bit of leftovers here, but I think the Choice Specs is going to come through. I think I would be really, really surprised if Gengar can't knock out the Dondozo from here. Again, it is weak to this Poison-type Sludge Bomb now because of the Terastallization, which was kind of forced out by the Dragonite, so I kind of like this combo here. Even though I am the mono-attacking Dragon set, if he does opt to go for this Terra Fairy, I can punish it really hard. Sludge Bomb knocks it out, that's perfect. Tatsugiri will pop out and hopefully be hit by a Scale Shot. If not, we could be in a little bit of trouble here. As long as this connects, I'm good. Great. We'll get knocked out by just 2 hits here. Don't need more than that. And then we'll just be down to Breloom versus my Gengar Dragonite, so I'm very happy with this positioning to start off. I do wish I got to see more of the Breloom's attacks. Like if it has Mach Punch, for example, I would be very shocked if it didn't have Mach Punch, because it is very strong to Chin Pao. But I suppose there's always a chance with this Poison Heal set. He opted for like Sub-Leech Seed and a Grass move. Unclear what this Breloom's attacks are going to be. We do need to find out how much Scale Shot does here. It looks like 5 hits probably won't even knock it out. Yeah, certainly not. Unless I get a critical hit on one of them. Good confirmation, yeah. Probably trained to survive that. That's like... I wonder if it's like Impish or something. I bet Breloom has to be on the bulkier side to guarantee survive that. Thankfully, Sludge Bomb will be able to finish it off. We're going to take the first game against Lee and the Scorbunnys. I really think this combination of Dragonite and Gengar is going to be really helpful. He does have, again, the 2 Terra Fairy Pokemon in the what is it, Dondozo and Breloom. So if he wants to Terra to avoid that dragon type damage, I can punch it pretty heavily. Feeling pretty good so far. Pretty happy with that. The rest of the Pokemon he brought are the Delibird and the Landorus. He didn't bring either of those. I do think Landorus is pretty difficult to bring if you're Lee here. However, I think I'm just going to go with these same Pokemon. I've not really been given a reason to think they're not the best option I have. Let me just try and think about what I could do differently here. Like, on the first turn, if he leads the Breloom Chi-Yu again, I could go straight for like the Terra Normal Extreme Speed into Chi-Yu. I'm pretty sure that should KO. Just max Adamant, Choice Spin, turn normal. With the Sword of Ruin, and Chi-Yu would probably need to be pretty bulky. With the Choice Scarf, I guess it has some room to invest in defenses, because you don't really need much to outspeed all of my Pokemon here with the Choice Scarf, but I'm still going to be a little bit wary of like the Terra Ghost on Chi-Yu. Dondozo Landorus, alright. That's interesting. Dozo Lando. He's kind of essentially forcing this 50-50, not even forcing it. I'm tempted to like Icy Wind Flare Blitz the Landorus. What that will do for me is either get a speed drop on the Dondozo immediately, which might let Dragonite outspeed with Haze before it can attack even once. It covers the Landorus going for a Terra Steel. Icy Wind. Like, the worst case here is I'm immediately swapping in the Tatsugiri, but even then, I get the speed drop. He probably takes a bunch of recoil if he wants to Wave Crash something. And that puts me in a pretty decent spot. He does withdraw right away. That's going to be... yeah. That's okay. Obviously not what I would have preferred, but I think it's still very workable. Again, this speed drop is going to be important. If he's smart, I think not if he's smart. I think if I'm him, I'm probably targeting the Chin-Pao over the Arcanine. I would much rather him, like, Wave Crash the Arcanine right now. But I don't expect that to happen. Would you maybe get to see if he's, Earthquake here? No, it's just Order Up. Okay. It's another attack boost immediately. This is a little bit scary now. Because... actually, no, I don't think it is. I can switch in Dragonite pretty freely. With Multiscale, I don't think an Order Up should be able to knock it out, and with that first Icy Wind, I should outspeed it already. So I think I'm okay here. Get Arcanine out. Now I get Dragonite in. Chin-Pao's going to take damage here. I wouldn't be surprised to see Order Up into the Arcanine slot, but again, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to survive it. Straight into Chin-Pao. That's perfect. Totally fine with that. Because now I can just go for Sacred Sword. With the Haze... actually, I'm pretty sure my Dragonite's faster than Arcanine. I'm going to check that really quick. 135, ooh, it might be close. Nah, I'm just gonna go for Sacred Sword. I want a little bit more damage. I think it's probably safer to assume I'm gonna be able to outspeed with Dragonite, because I did get that one speed drop already. Sacred Sword, some decent damage immediately coming through, and Haze first. That's great. That's great, that's great. So I eliminate those attack boosts back down to normal. This Order Up shouldn't KO. Yeah, because I did get that one drop immediately. I do want to preserve Chin-Pao here, actually, so I'm going to swap it out, I think straight into Arcanine, get one Intimidate down, kind of neutralize that first Order Up, and then potentially get some Scale Shot damage in. I wouldn't be surprised, again, to see the Terra Fairy coming out. If it does, I kind of just keep hazing with Dragonite. I can maybe set up a Tailwind, too, if I need to. That just allows me to kind of manage this Dondozo throughout the rest of the game. And if I do force the Terra Fairy, Gengar can just come back in and Sledge Bomb it. No Terra Fairy just yet, though. I do get the Scale Shot off here. This could be really important damage. The stun Dozo now. I get all 5 hits, that's great. And more importantly, I'm also getting the speed boost. I think what I want to do next turn is actually just go straight for a Tailwind and Head Smash into the Dondozo. What that allows me to do is get the speed advantage for the remainder of the game. If something like Chiyu or... Well, we know Tatsugiri is one of his last Pokemon. If Chiyu is the 4th, then I will be able to outspeed it with the Tailwind. And be able to knock it out with Arcanine. Also puts Dragonite in a much better position against this Landorus. Hopefully Head Smash connects here. It is not the most accurate attack, but if I do connect it, this is really good. Choice Band Head Smash without those defense boosts is enough for a knockout. And I like locking into Head Smash here because it threatens when it KOs into pretty much everything immediately, which I think could be very important. Love to get the Tailwind up too. I don't know if Scale Shot would have knocked out from that range. Maybe there's an argument where I could have gone for Scale Shot Head Smash to try and guarantee the KO. But I'm okay with this. I also am pretty happy with this position because these are both Terra Steel. They'll both resist both Scale Shot and Head Smash. You can only Terrestrialize one of them. Whichever you don't Terrestrialize, if it attacks, I think just gets knocked out, which would be wonderful. So I really like this spot here. Again, I still have the Chien-Pao in the back. I still have the Gengar in the back as well. I haven't Terrestrialized yet, so if Breloom is his 4th Pokemon, I should be able to dodge the Mach Punch with the Chien-Pao. He is going to Terrestrialize one. Let's see which one it is. It's going to be the Tatsugiri, so it's going to be Terra Steel. Going to be able to resist the Scale Shot, and of course not get knocked out by it. But if Landorus doesn't protect itself, it will get knocked out. Surely does. Yeah, that's fine. Landorus will be able to protect. Scale Shot here into Tatsugiri still does a decent chunk here, especially if I get all 5 hits. Nice crit there too. That could be really important. That's 3. Ooh, this might mean I only need 4 hits for the knockout now. That's really good. That's actually really important. Especially if this is like knockout into the Arcanine. It's probably something like a Muddy Water or a Draco Meteor. That critical hit could be very impactful. Muddy Water. Miss. Oh. That's so unfortunate. That's a really lucky turn for me. No accuracy drop either on Dragonite. That is rough for Lee. This Dragonite's still in a very strong position. I can just keep Scale Shotting the Tatsugiri and Head Smashing the Landorus. If Breloom's in the back, it doesn't really want to be taking either of these attacks. I think the lack of accuracy drop on Muddy Water is actually a little bit more important than Arcanine dodging. If Arcanine goes down there, I'm still pretty fine. I can switch in my Chien-Pao and put in the KO into Landorus immediately. The critical hit on that Scale Shot maybe it didn't matter. I mean, I'm knocking it out with 8 hits here, which is, with a critical hit, is kind of like 8.5. If I got 5 hits on one of the two, I think it probably goes down. I maybe just need 9 hits in total, and since I got 5 on the first one, it kind of locked it up. Obviously, you never want to see the crit if you're in the receiving position of that too, so still a bit of a swing of luck in my favor here. Head Smash luckily does connect as well, so that should bring me down to Lee's final Pokemon. I'm pretty happy with how I was able to manage this Dondozo. The combination of the Chien-Pao and the Dragonite were able to take a couple attacks from it, get the big haze off. Even with the Terra Fairy possibility, I was able to prevent it from getting a little bit out of control because I was able to threaten that Gengar damage as well. I will bring in Chien-Pao depending on what this Pokemon is. Actually, I think this is pretty fine. I think Sacred Sword and Scale Shot should be able to get a knockout here. I believe Tailwind is still up. Yeah, last turn of Tailwind. So just Sacred Sword and Scale Shot. Scale Shot does connect, so that should confirm the knockout here. It might just do it itself. If not, I'll have Sacred Sword for the cleanup. Yeah, pretty happy with that. I think going into this match, I kind of learned from last season when I played against Ben Kiriakou a couple times. He had that Dozagiri combination. I very heavily over-indexed for it and got punished both times against him for it. So this time I made sure I had game plans. You know, I had the Haze Dragonite, one of the best answers for it, but I was also prepared for the rest of the team. I think the Arcanine was a really good call, especially with the Icy Wind Chien-Pao and the Tailwind on Dragonite. It just put me in a position where Arcanine could very heavily threatened everything other than the Dozagiri. And even, I mean, the Head Smash picked up the knockout on Dozo too, so we'll take that. I think good team building, good play on my end. Of course, got that little bit of luck with the scale shot and the muddy water miss, but it's kind of how the game goes. GG's Lee, happy to win my third match here, so I'm now 2-1. If you remember last season, I won round 1, I lost week 2, and then I lost week 3, so I went from 1-0 to 1-2. Not letting that happen this time after a loss against Wancho last week, so 2-1 on the up and up right away. Stick around for week 4, coming at you next week.